Hello, my human beings. As you may have noticed lately, I've been in a bit of a black pill era. And at first it was about pessimism and dooming and overall, like, being sad, feeling hopeless, alone, scared, that type stuff. But I've had a bit of a accept what is and try to make the most of it arc. And I've had a really good few weeks. I've been really happy. I basically have been doing a digital detox, and it's wild. Please do a digital detox. This is for everyone, to be honest. It's insane how different life is when you just cut that shit out. Like, I've been not texting. I've told the people in my life, which is not much. And to be honest, I'm grateful that I don't have a bunch of junk connections. I don't think connections are bad, but I'm junk, close people that are too close. I'm glad that, my actual relationships are as I want them to be, and I'm not fucking, this is not what it's about. I don't think the relationships are perfect. Doesn't fucking matter. Point is, I've been in this era of accepting what is, and a part of that is not going on my phone and not consuming any media. I made it a rule to have no screens, and also I don't listen to music on the streets. I don't use headphones except for when I'm doing production, when I'm doing work. Because I do music, and when I listen to music for my work, or I listen to music on speaker, so I don't even listen to music most of the time. I'm just in the moment, in the silence, and I've had a really good few days of this digital detox, but I don't know how. I'm just gonna lay it how it is, because that's what this video is about anyways. I haven't gotten my diagnosis yet, but I'm most likely suffering from adenomyosis. It's like endometriosis. The point is, when you get your period, it hurts so bad. The reason I'm making this video is that actually I've just been through a fucking excruciating adenomyosis episode. We called an ambulance, but they ended up not coming, so we had to go into the hospital where they didn't treat me. But by the time the 3 different painkillers that I took have mostly acted, so my cramps they still were there. It was still painful. I was still this, but they weren't as crazy as they were before that, because before that I woke up at 6:30, and around I think I woke up at 6, and around 7:30 to 8:30 I had this 1 hour of screaming, shaking, nauseously guttural screaming in pain. And I never do that. I've broken bones, okay, mostly just hand bones, so nothing crazy, but without making a sound. And I was a kid. I've always been a hard ass. I've always been feeling a bit of pride, maybe even an unhealthy amount, about my pain tolerance. I was an athlete all my life. I was a rhythmic gymnast, which, if you know that, the way they stretch us as kids is that when you're made to do the splits, the split position, and then the coach comes and they fucking sit on you. Most children cry, really painful. I didn't cry, because I made it my mission to be a hard ass. I made it my mission to just bear the pain, because it is for what I wanted. I wanted flexibility. I wanted to be a good rhythmic gymnast. And let me get some water. All right, I'm back. Damn, got that sunlight. So yeah, my whole life I was just the kind of person to be tough and fight and keep going. I'm an Aries. I don't know. I guess it's just my personality. But It's wild. It's wild what life can be. I think both in a good way, but we can't ignore that also in a bad way, because for a while I thought that positivity meant they just don't think about bad things. And it sounds stupid, and because of that, a lot of people deny that that's also what they think. But it is like what most people be doing. Like, don't entertain your fears. What you resist persists. I mean, that's kind of the opposite, but like, don't entertain what you don't want in your life. And I get it. It's part of why I cut off my overall media consumption. Literally, that's part of why I decided to kind of resort back to this like natural silence that the world like is in. Like, for example, nature, the way it's created, the way humans were created is like humans are just hanging out outside, and most of the time they just hear the sounds of nature. They don't hear all this like noise. And yeah, I've heard this story, and you know what, the way it started is like I started getting drawn to like darker and darker stories that were written by people. For example, I watched this AI takeover video, which is a very interesting video. I don't think AI will take over the world. My prophetic visions say otherwise. I'm not joking. You might think I'm joking, but no, I don't take any of my fucking psychic visions for granted. I don't think it's, the future's written in pencil, not in pen. I don't think like this will happen. I don't think that about anything. But I just don't think AI will take over the world. Like, I just don't like see that. But it could happen. It could totally happen. That's part of why I'm making this video, is to accept the fucked up shit. And I've made a video like this before, which was called "The World is Cruel, Do What You Love," where I talked about my fear of trigger warning, anesthesia awareness. I've never experienced it, but I've heard a lot of stories. I listened to a lot of stories about people who've went through it, and it's just like, it's one of those horrors beyond imagination that is just like, yeah, it happens, and then people tell you to go back to work, just go to college, go to school, vote for this party, and everything will be okay. Like, people have this idea about control and safety, of how they can avoid the natural brutality of life. Like, just think about it, the way nature is. There's a tiger, and the tiger could just like rip your entire, I don't know what I can say on YouTube and not get banned, because I've had some of my videos be deleted, and I don't want that to happen. But like, I mean, in those I was just like, I don't even, there's a reason you didn't see it, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, like, the way life is, just look at wildlife. You think the deer deserved to have the, I don't know what kind of bear or tiger take a bite out of their leg while they're still alive? Like, you think that, these things are fair and well? And it's also a thing where I've seen my cat kill a lot of little animals. Like, she would kill like little mice. She would kill little like, no, what is it called, the little thing? It's like, it's kind of like a gecko, geek, like, it's a lizard. I don't know what it's called in English, sorry. I'll put the word in something. But yeah, so, and also I've been having a hard time consuming meat, because I'm like, oh, the animals, no, they're getting killed, it's so bad. And that's true, it's fucking unfair, but it's like, I feel like my body needs meat. Like, some people might be okay with not eating meat, but ever since I was a kid, I was like a very athletic child. I'm still like into working out. I need the protein, like, and yes, you can get it from cottage cheese, tofu, all that, but it's like, I've been vegetarian for a while, and it's hard to like meet my workout needs. But anyway, so even in those ways, this like facing the darker aspects of life has been coming up in a lot of ways. And back to this AI takeover video, I was watching it, and there's this book, and also there's a video game about it called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. And I've been I didn't read it, I didn't play it, but I've been researching about it. I watched like video essays. And I've just been thinking about like, why does anyone make such a thing? Like, why does anyone just like create something as horroristic as possible? Like, of course you can talk about how it's about human triumph and about, spoiler alert, but how in the end like Ted sacrificed himself for the rest of the gang even though he hated all of them. And like it's but even still his fate is so cruel and psychologically gruesome. It's just like, I'm not gonna describe it, you know, if you want to look it up, but like I've just been thinking about like why does someone make such a thing? And I've been thinking about like, should I dive into it or should I avoid it? Like, what was the positivity thing to do? Should I be like, it is what it is, can't control it, it exists, let me think about butterflies and sunshine and rainbows? Or should I like explore it? And it's like an ongoing theme where I'm like, there's this other story which happened in my immediate circle, which is my step uncle, which basically the brother of my stepdad. As a child, massive trigger warning, huge trigger warning, please skip to this time. The trigger warning is medical, awful, horrifying, excruciating things happening to little children. So when he was about 1.5 years old, he accidentally drank acid and it burned his entire you know what goes down here, I don't know English biology, and his stomach basically, and he survived, which is fucking crazy, but yeah, he survived. But for a year, every other day, there was this procedure done for him, which no anesthesia, none. They stuck like a big ass stick down his throat all the way into his stomach to make it wider. So this thing was like deliberately quite large to make his entire thing like bigger, because it was burnt with acid. It was already like irritated and painful, so he will be able to eat later in his entire life. And he was screaming in agony. He was 1.5 years old, and they did this procedure for a year every other day. So 1.5-year-old little child. I got so angry when I heard that. Just not at a person, just the fact that like, what kind of God lets this happen? That I beat the floor so much that this bone of mine, like I started like beating the floor so much that this bone of mine is like bruised. I can barely move this finger of mine. This is not funny. I was screaming as well, because this whole thing was after an episode of me literally screaming in pain for an hour with adenomyosis cramps, which are insanely painful. And I think a lot of people might be like, in your head, and I know this for myself, if I would hear something like this before my adenomyosis journey, whatever you want to call it, before my hell, but yeah, before that, I would hear something like this and I would like justify it in my head. I would like play around it in my head about how like, oh yeah, but it's probably not that painful, probably she's overreacting, probably like if it happened to me it wouldn't be that bad, like I would just be able to bear it. Like, people have this inherent shit going on in their mind of like, oh yeah, that can happen to others but it can't happen to me. Like, oh, if this happened to me, I would be able to just like be okay, you know. But I wasn't that kind of person, because I think I have a sense of strength and a sense of like a sense of like gritting through and like powering through things. And because of that, I thought like, I cannot be broken. There's just nothing that can make me go like that. And I'm talking like, I didn't think there was any kind of pain in the world that can make me like scream and cry, and not even the high-pitched scream like that, like that, like, I don't even, it was fucking wild. And at some point I just started getting angry, and I was like, why won't the pain stop? It was going on for so long. And after that, we had this talk about like how there's so many bad things in the world, and it's like, I'm a kind of person where I do everything right, even in the spiritual sense, you know, the societal sense. I'm studying for college, I'm pursuing my art hustle, I'm being authentic online, I'm exposing my secrets, exposing my shame, I'm communicating my boundaries, I'm being grateful for the people that I love. I don't get like that angry at people anymore. I used to be very snappy and like have a lot of anger issues. I don't feel like I do that anymore. I don't have like fights with people. I feel like if we gotta fight, then what even is that gonna do? Like, I'm just gonna let you do your thing, and I'm gonna let me do my thing and just accept things for what they are. And on the other hand, I go to therapy, I deal with my feelings, I cry often, I face stuff, I journal every night. I talk to myself, I talk to other people, and of course I do have some issues that I feel like are still quite there emotionally, but even there, those things I'm dealing with, I'm journaling about it, I'm talking about it, I'm like trying to channel it into constructive things, I'm trying to channel it into purpose, and still I go through pains that I did not think could touch me. And it's just been making me realize a lot about how there really is no safety in life. Like, safety is an illusion. Anything could happen to you right now. You could start just like, because that's the way this kind of pain happens. It's like you're just vibing, you're chilling. One moment it hurts so bad, and it goes like it goes up, like it starts a little bit and then it goes up. That could happen to you at any moment. I'm just like you. I'm just a person. And even a lot of people like look up to me. A lot of people are like, oh, she's got it going on. She's like, she knows what's up. You know, wisdom doesn't save you from the brutality of life. Strength also doesn't save you from the brutality of life. Stoicism, enlightenment, all this, it doesn't save you from the brutality of life. And there is no way to escape this part of human existence. I feel like this is also why people say this, is that they just want to tell themselves it can't happen to them. You know, that, for example, what I said about my step uncle. This is crazy that he's my step uncle. I never thought about him that way. But anyways, the way that could happen, it's like, oh, it couldn't happen to me. Like, for him, yeah, that was probably his fate. It was probably his karma. Yeah, of course, a 1.5-year-old child somehow deserved that. Makes me want to choke you. People say that it's karma. Yeah, suck my dick. Suck my karmic dick. Me saying that is not enough to express the rage I feel. And I'm not gonna express it because I've tried to like privately post videos where I'm just like screaming and meltdowning, and I don't mind it because it's real. It's a real life. That's how animals are. That's how humans were before we adapted this society. This like industrial revolution. Everything is gonna be okay. Everything is fine. Just go to college. Just go to work, and then, you know, you're totally not gonna get cancer. You're totally not gonna get some random illness that's going to make you go through living hell from one day to the next. Yeah, your parents, they're totally not gonna die, like, ever. You know, your child, they're gonna be okay too. It's not like they could just get into a horrifying accident any day. You could just lose them. That also happened recently with someone. in my not immediate but almost immediate circle, an 18-year-old boy, he just died. He was going through life, everything was fine, and then one night, the entire fucking city of mine is talking about it, but yeah, I went to the same school as him. I didn't know him personally, but, you know, people that I knew him personally. And, you know, a lot of teachers have been talking about him. And he was 18 years old, close to graduating. And I'm not going to say how, but he died out of things that were not his fault. From one day to the next, he was a good boy. He had a real cute smile. I didn't know a lot about him, but I like it when people have an innocent, cute smile. I just like to think that, I don't know, I feel like I see the child version of everyone when I look at people. And I feel like even that's why it's so hard for me to accept that this world has such a cruel and dark and horrifying aspect to it, because I do feel for people so much. I'm gonna cry. But you know what? It's real. It's real. Suck my real tears, bro. Suck them. Eat them. Eat them off my face, because it's real. Unlike these fake promises of how everything is gonna be fine, and of course you can always be a disillusioned doomer. I'm not a doomer. I don't even use my phone. I'm looking outside, I'm thanking God for the fact that I am not going through those things, or that my mom is not going through those things. I literally got emotional over the fact that my family got me the birthday gift that I wanted, because like it just makes me so happy that they're like, to imagine them like think about like, oh, we're gonna get her this gift and she's gonna be so happy, and like they give it to me and then I open it and I'm so happy, and it's just like, I just find it so insanely beautiful. And I always I thank people so much for everything, because I feel so much gratitude for the good things. And I feel like partially that is because I've been more opening myself up to seeing how precious those things are, because of how fucking insanely not precious and horrifying other things are, and how they exist. And I feel like experiencing this contrast is doing things to my soul. I don't even know what. I'm still in the process. But yeah, and what I was gonna say is, this is so hard for me to accept, because, you know, as a Central Eastern European, I feel like saying what nationality I'm from, it almost feels like too private, because I'm like, I don't even care. As like someone from that part of Europe, my country has suffered so much, and it's not just the country, it's the people. Like my grandmother, she went through like, you know, Stalin's whole system. I mean, they were literally, their homes, everything was taken from them. And then my grandma, her parents, they went through the Holocaust, they went through World War II. And these kind of traumas, they're not just like, oh, they're history. No, they happen to my family and everyone's family that lives in this country. It's not just like, oh yeah, it happened to some people somewhere. No, it happened to us. And even though it's not happening to me, it's not happening to my mother, or not even her mother. I mean, only to like a little extent, but these things, they're real stories from our parents, from our parents, that were passed down from their parents and their parents. I mean, we still have things that those people that experience like the Holocaust made, or pictures that they took, or like not took, I don't know if cameras were even a thing, but like, you know, I have a necklace that was worn by my grandmother's mother, who have went through like World War II. It's like, and I feel for those people so much, because I truly, anytime I look at someone, I feel both this horror and also sadness. The horror is from knowing that could be me, and the sadness is from feeling their pain. And like just feeling for the situation. And I'm not trying to say I'm an empath, I'm the victim here. I'm just saying that I feel like also the reason why I might have been avoiding and like trying to justify that the world is somehow fair and somehow these things like don't, everything happens for a reason, everything it's either they needed it for their evolution, it's karma, they deserved it, or like what? Or they wanted it somehow. Or, they manifested it subconsciously. Of course, a child would manifest that shit to happen to them subconsciously. Because they needed it. Shut the fuck up. You are the reason. Ignorance is a disease. In my language, my native language, people say silent is agreement. And I feel like that especially stands true when it comes to abuse and oppression and overall abuse of power. Because if you were silent when you see abuse happen, you are on the side of the abuser. It doesn't matter that you're not the one doing it. If you're not saying anything against it, then you're allowing it and you're just as responsible. Of course, they're a little more responsible, but you're also responsible. And, but what I was gonna say is like, I feel so many emotions when I see human suffering. Part of it is truly embracing the reality that no one is different. Like, it could be you. It doesn't matter that you practice Reiki and breath work and you journal and you're aware of God, that you pray. I feel like this is why people invented religion and this fake ass narrative that good things happen to good people. If you're good, you go to heaven. You're bad, you go to hell. Hell and heaven are here. And people are going to it without having contributed like fucking anything. I mean, I know if you're a shit, like if you're living in your internal hell of like greed and pride and like all the like 7 deadly sins and stuff, then yes, you are creating your internal hell. But when I hear about stories happening to children, I'm like, how can you sit there and say and somehow justify it in your head that for some reason that is okay? And yeah, overall, I've just been facing the horrors of existence, and I don't think that's a bad thing. You could tell me I'm not awakened enough to know that things really are beautiful and fair and life is a gift. I feel like beauty and fairness and life is a gift and love, those things exist. Heaven exists, but hell also exists. And that's not just like a little sentence. That is real shit happening right now. And it could happen to you literally in the next second. There is a chance you're watching this and after 2 minutes of this video, you're gonna go through the worst thing you could not even imagine. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just stating the facts. It could happen, and you can be like, oh, but like, I don't claim that into my reality. I'm just gonna manifest that to not happen. I don't even know if I believe in that shit anymore. I don't even know. I feel like you can manifest certain things into your life, but you can't manifest this immunity, you can't manifest this immunity to life's brutality and the brutality that exists within everything and within you. And there's also a lot of love and beauty that exists within everything and within you. But I feel like everything has this infinite nature where all qualities are a part of it in a way, in one way or another. And I don't even know what conclusion I have of that. I know I'm going to keep living my life in a way where I'm making the choices that I feel are the right one to make. But, there's also this illusion or this idea that, okay, you experience something bad, you get the conclusion, and because of that, it's not going to happen again. like, okay, just because I had this episode of excruciating pain, okay, I'm gonna get the conclusion that life is not all perfect, and maybe I'm gonna be more grateful, maybe I'm gonna be more empathetic, maybe I'm gonna be less in denial. But shove my burps up your ass. It's real. I hate the fakeness. Yeah, so it's like I get the conclusion, and it served its purpose, and because of that, it's not gonna happen again. It totally could happen again. Totally. You know, and also these things I've already known. I've already been following my heart, and these things can still happen to you. Yeah. And I'm not here trying to be a doomer. I'm not here trying to say that everything sucks, but some things do suck. And it's not just suck, it's like inhumanly, hellishly horrifying. Some things are like that. And you know, me sitting here, you might look at me and you might be like, oh, is this girl looking like a mess in her PJs? All hair messy, all this shit. She's clearly mentally ill. You know, you can write me off as some internet weirdo that posts their mental breakdowns. But I feel like the reason I'm sharing this, one reason for it is I just feel like sharing it. Fucking period. Not everything has to be like this divine, whatever. But another reason that I'm sharing this is that I feel like denial is truly a disease. Because if you're in denial, you can't change. And this applies to things about the world. Like, this applies to things about, you know, all this stuff that is going on in the world. This, like, and I'm not just talking about, like, you know, it's just like the economic and political situation of the world right now. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm just talking about overall, like, the bad things that nobody wants to act like could happen to them. Like, all these things, like disease and pain and all, like, in death. I mean, that's a huge thing. You could lose anyone at any moment. Like, anyone can die at any moment, even you. But yeah, like, these things that people just like to not look at and act like, oh, it's not gonna happen. God is good. God wouldn't let that. I do believe in God, but honestly, at this point, I don't know if it gives a shit or not. But yeah, it's like all these things, if they are going to change, it's definitely not going to be through us acting like it's okay. Acting like nothing's that bad. Acting like, oh yeah, the world always been that way. You say that until it's you. You say that until it's your child, until it's your mother, until it's your life, until it's happening to your body, to your loved ones. You say that, but these things can reach you. You're not immune to the brutality of life. And I think if you take anything from this, that I think that should be that if anything will change for the better, and if humanity will change this world for the better, it will not be through this kind of ignorant denial. If you see a homeless, you should be horrified that it could totally be you. If you see someone with cancer, you know, you can tell yourself, yeah, the way they've been suppressing their emotions, it like manifested as an illness. Girl, I don't be suppressing shit. Like, okay, I might be suppressing stuff, but I'm not the kind of person that needs to be woken up by a physical condition to the reality of my emotions and my traumas and my energy. Like, I actively deal with that, and I still had this happen to me. So I'm just saying that, like, when you see someone like that, I think you should be horrified and sad. I think you should feel, I think you should look at that I feel like, yeah, if you look at these kind of horrifying things and you feel nothing, I think that's the problem. And, you know, don't even get me started on how people are using social media to just be like these fake, beautiful people. You see the looks I got going on? That's just my face. You ain't even seen my build, my body, all that. If I wanted to be a beauty influencer, I could be a beauty influencer, but nothing pisses me off more than the vanity, the sheer vanity of that entire fucking industry. And I know that because I wasn't always pretty. I had an eating disorder. I had like crazy body image issues. I really hated how I looked. I even was like bigger. I was going through bullying, fat shaming, all that. And yeah, that kind of content just made me want to end it. And I'm not gonna make the kind of content that made 14-year-old me want to end it. So yeah, I feel like that's a different form of ignorance too, this like vanity. But yeah, I don't want to end this video yet. I feel like there's more. Yeah. I just find it crazy, you know, that even now I'm thinking about, yeah, I need to study in order to get into college, in order to get into university, I need to do that. When like I just been through that, like what is life? You know, like what even is the point of that? And I think it's a good thing that I'm asking this question. I don't think it's like depression, mentally ill. Bro, I got it going on. I got my health maxed out. I be eating all healthy, all plant-based. I don't eat gluten, sugar. Okay, I had a few days of eating sugar because I had my birthday and I like basically baked this like peak cake for myself. Like I got all this shit going on. I've been going to therapy. I've been caring about my health. Like I feel like if someone gives a fuck about their well-being, it's me. But even then, you are not immune to the brutality of life. And I feel like that should make you feel a whole lot of things. When you see a child with cancer, you shouldn't justify it in your head by saying, like, for some reason it needs to be that way. No, some things should never ever fucking happen, but they still do. How about that? So, yeah, I think I'm gonna maybe there'll be a part two. Maybe there'll be a part two because I feel like there's so much more to dissect here. So much more. Because I would love to give you some conclusion about how, you know, you should, you know, how, okay, but what we take away from this is how you should meditate, journal, cut out social media and be happy. But no, this is like a deep, dark thing. And I feel like taking that solution and conclusion away from it that soon is again another form of denial. And sometimes all you can do is feel the pain. That's also something that I realized, well, not while feeling the pain, but after I heard like someone say that, like, yeah, you feel the emotion, but you don't become it, you observe it. You become a neutral observer. How am I supposed to be a neutral observer when I'm literally like guttural, screaming, crying, throwing up in pain? And it just doesn't stop. It just goes on and on. Yeah, a neutral observer. You're in denial. That's what you're in. And yeah, again, you can write me off as some mentally ill, bleach blonde woman. Mentally ill, blonde woman. And sure, do whatever the fuck you want to do, but I think if you do that, you're in denial. And I'm not here to be a black pillar. I'm not here to be like, oh yeah, everything is bad, humans are evil. But like, you know, things are not black and white. Just because you're aware that things are great and grateful and all of that, I feel like the more life also shows you the opposite end of things. And maybe that's because you're ready for it, but at the same time, that child going through actual living hell with both the mental and physical, excruciating and psychologically cruel and gruesome life, and that is their entire life. They're not ready. They're just a kid. And yes, children are born into the same fucked up world that adults are living in. Just because they're a kid, they're not immune to the brutality of life as well. I think if there's also another thing you take away from this is that you shouldn't lie to kids. You shouldn't lie to other people. You shouldn't lie to yourself about how just do this and this and this and you'll have stability and you'll be okay and everything's gonna be okay. It's just not true. If there's one thing about spirituality that I do agree with, is that Buddhists say that control is an illusion. And I get it. I get it now. So I think I'll stop this video right now. Maybe we'll do a part 2 someday. But yeah, you're not immune to the brutality of life. However that ends up influencing you is not my problem. So, I'm happy I made this video. Have a nice day. If you're not having a nice day, just know that you're not alone. But even that doesn't help, you know, it's the same denial bullshit. It's like, people are going through that, and it's like, just know that you're not alone. Like, that's gonna help, you know? That's just gonna solve it, like, okay. But, you know, if maybe it can help, if you can relate, then I'm glad you could find something that feels validating to the way that you feel. And I'm very, very grateful that even YouTube exists as a platform that I can express myself on, and we can have actual real conversations about real human things that are important to real people and that are happening to real people. So yeah, have a nice day, and thank you for watching.